And I'm
operate. 62 tax and fee increases Bradbury voted for. Gas tax, phone tax, timber tax, sales tax. $2.6 billion for Oregon taxpayers. Sticker shock. Bill Bradbury. He costs Oregon families a lot to operate. Check it out at BradburyOnTaxes.com. It's all there.
Meth, the downward spiral. Tonight at 6:30 on K2 News.
on World News tonight, the body in Washington's Rock Creek Park. It is the intern, Chandra Levy. The bombing case, which is finally closed. The former Klansman is guilty of killing the girls 40 years ago. The president in Germany, lots of anti-American sentiment. The suicide pilot, he cased the trade towers just before the mission. Does a chimpanzee deserve a lawyer? We'll take a closer look at the legal debate about animal rights. And selling sisterhood, as in advertising for a nun. The nuns are doing it.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings.
Good evening, everyone. We're going to begin this evening with two criminal cases which have engrossed the nation for many years. One of them for 40 years, in which history has been made today in Birmingham, Alabama, and the other which began only a year ago but brought down a congressman as well as tormenting a family. In Washington this morning, a man walking a dog in a park stumbled on a skull. The park is only a few miles from the apartment of Chandra Levy, the young Washington intern who suddenly vanished into thin air one day. Late this afternoon, the police said the remains were hers.
The remains found earlier today are in fact Chandra Levy. The identification was made through dental records. The manner and cause of death is still pending. There's certainly more work that needs to be done at the medical examiner's office.
This is no longer a missing person investigation. Here's ABC's Pierre Thomas.
In Washington's Rock Creek Park, a skull, other skeletal remains, and pieces of clothing were discovered by a man walking his dog at 9:30 this morning. The clothing recovered at the scene, according to sources, was that of a female who was wearing jogging gear at the time of her death. A Walkman was also discovered nearby.
It's being handled as a death investigation, and once we find out manner and cause of death, that could change again.
The remains appear to have been at the site for quite some time.
But forensic experts say even bones may be able to yield clues as to how death occurred.
If you find that the individual on the bone, you find signs that the person was defending themselves. There might have been a knife attack, and you find knife marks on the bones, cut marks. Those would be indicative also of the fact the person was defending themselves and the manner in which they were killed.
Levy disappeared on May 1st, 2001, and soon became the subject of national headlines, largely because of allegations she'd been having an affair with Congressman Gary Condit. But there was no evidence to consider him a suspect. The Levy family was notified late this afternoon. Pierre Thomas, ABC News, Washington.
In Birmingham, Alabama today, a former member of the Ku Klux Klan was found guilty of murdering 4 young black girls in 1963. It is a case which has attracted enormous attention over the years and has caused a great deal of pain to survivors and to the city where it happened. ABC's Steve Osunsami has covered the latest trial of the last suspect. Steve?
Peter, the jurors, 9 of them white, 3 of them black, spent less than a day deliberating this case, and they delivered a verdict many in this community have long waited for. After the guilty verdict, the judge asked the former Ku Klux Klansman what he had to say. Bobby Frank Cherry pointed to prosecutors and said they lied all the way and that he didn't know why he was going to jail for nothing. Outside the courthouse,
it was a relief. It was a relief.
The sisters of the 4 young black girls killed in 1963 said it was time justice was served.
Today, I just feel good that justice has prevailed.
Cherry faces a sentence of life in prison for his role in the bombing of the 16th Street Baptist Church.
We feel like we can't go on with our lives now.
The 71-year-old Cherry is the last of 3 men to be convicted in the case.
In our struggle with foreign terrorists, it sends a resounding message that we are not going to tolerate domestic terrorists.
The city, which is still struggling to shake the legacy of its racist past, hopes today's results help residents move on.
We are smiling now, and it is a bright day in Birmingham.
But Birmingham, sometimes referred to as Bombingham, still has an image problem. In the past 50 years, black residents have left. And now the Chamber of Commerce has put more than $1 million into an ad campaign aimed at its own residents.
Birmingham, a city of roots and wings.
We're not trying to sweep under the rug the past of Birmingham. We're trying to say, hey, we're building on that. Look how far we've come. Look how far we can go.
A guilty verdict, Peter, from a mixed-race jury certainly helps this community move past one of the deadliest attacks from the civil rights era.
Thank you, Steve. Steve Osunsami in Birmingham, Alabama. We have one more bombing in the news today. In Israel, lightning did strike twice. A suicide bomber blew himself up. In the same Tel Aviv suburb, another bomber struck 2 weeks ago. 3 people, including the bomber, died today. More than 40 others were injured. ABC's Mark Litke is there.
Emergency vehicles screamed into the Tel Aviv suburb. The target this time, a crowded pedestrian mall, a popular gathering place for young Israelis on a summer night. I heard a boom. I can't even describe it, she says. I was thrown to the ground by the impact. Police report the bomber had dyed blonde hair, presumably a disguise. He set off his explosives right next to an outdoor cafe. Because it was an open area, the death and destruction was not as serious as the bombing here 2 weeks ago, which killed 15 in a crowded pool hall. But with last Sunday's bombing in nearby Netanya and now this, Israeli officials say they expect more.
We cannot seal off totally the borders of the State of Israel. And the war against terror is a continuous one. It needs perseverance and it needs patience.
Israeli forces continue to surround every major Palestinian town, conducting what they call pinpoint incursions to flush out wanted Palestinians. Today, Israeli tanks fired on a refugee camp, killing at least 5, including a leading militant of the Al-Aqsa Brigade. The Israeli government tonight says it's confident its military campaign has thwarted many other suicide attacks, but Israelis fully expect the suicide bombings here to remain a fact of life and death. Mark Litke, ABC News, Jerusalem.
President Bush is overseas this evening. Mr. Bush was just off the plane in Germany today when he ran into stiff opposition on several issues from government and from the public. Thousands of people demonstrated for a second day in Berlin, most of them unhappy about Mr. Bush's foreign policy. ABC's Terry Moran is in Berlin tonight. Terry, the president runs into angry and anxious allies.
He does, Peter. There is a lot of anger here, and it is focused directly on Mr. Bush, which in this once divided city is exceptional, since Berlin has hailed and cheered so many American presidents in the past. The people on the streets today, and a lot of Europeans, ordinary Europeans, are fearful of Mr. Bush's leadership in the war. For his part, the president says about the protests, essentially, bring them on. He says while protesters may disagree with what he says, he speaks his mind clearly, and he's a man of principle.
A man of principle, not necessarily on steel and tariffs as far as the Europeans are concerned.
No, not on that issue. The European governments are enraged about that, and their fury has caught the administration by surprise. Administration officials expected the Europeans essentially to litigate the steel dispute. Instead, they are going to retaliate very quickly, and it looks like they're on the verge of a trade war.
And listening to the Europeans, Terry, they are also upset about what the president may do with the Iraqis.
Well, that is the focus of much of the protest and will be the focus of much of the discussions. There is no question that the Europeans right now are in no mood and would not support, at least the mass of the European public polls show, would not support U.S. action to topple Saddam Hussein, which Mr. Bush continues to make clear he intends one way or another to do.
Many thanks, Terry. Terry Moran in Berlin tonight. The United States today called on India and Pakistan to stop shelling each other in the disputed region of Kashmir. As ABC's Jim Shuto reports from Islamabad, the Pakistani capital, the leader of those two countries were talking today about war, which is why the U.S. is worried.
With hundreds of thousands of his troops massed along the border with Pakistan, India's Prime Minister told some of them today the time has come for a decisive fight. Hours earlier, he moved warships into position off the Pakistan coast. Roughly 1 million troops from the two countries now face each other. The two sides have exchanged artillery fire for 5 straight days, and the fears of war have not been this high since the two nations tested nuclear weapons 3 years ago. Kashmir is claimed by both countries. Tensions came to a head last week when 32 people at an Indian army base in Kashmir were killed. India says militants from Pakistan were responsible. In the Pakistan capital today, President Musharraf held an emergency cabinet meeting and said his country wants to diffuse tensions with India, but remains, quote, fully prepared to meet any eventuality with full force. It may all be brinksmanship, but these two countries are on a war footing tonight in every way. Jim Sciutto, ABC News, Islamabad, Pakistan.
There are two other items in the overseas briefing today. In the Indian state of Andhra Pradesh, more than 1,000 people have now died in a heat wave. Temperatures have reached 120 degrees. And the Pope was in the former Soviet Republic of Azerbaijan today. For the first time, the Pope was unable to walk down the steps of his plane unaided when he arrived and was brought down on a small elevator. The leader of the September hijackers was in New York just days before the attack, casing the Trade Center. That story when we come back. And later in the broadcast this evening, will the chimpanzees have their day in court? We'll take a closer look.
No matter how you define slavery, what we do to chimpanzees is slavery.
And at the end of the broadcast tonight, advertising to save the sisterhood. This is the Nuns story.
This is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings. Brought to you by Bush Baked Beans.
2. For generations, we Bushes have kept the family recipe for our baked beans a secret. Roll that beautiful bean footage. We slow cook our beans with a special blend of herbs and spices, according to our secret family recipe. And here it is. 3 generations of Bushes are counting on us to keep it a secret.
You can trust me, Jay.
I know, boy, but I'm not taking any chances.
Ah, that hurts.
Try Bush's country-style baked beans.
If the woman you'll be in 20 years could talk to the woman you are today, she'd say take care of yourself now with new Bayer Women's Aspirin Plus Calcium. It has calcium to help fight osteoporosis and low-strength aspirin to reduce the risk of another heart attack. Heart disease is the #1 killer of women. So talk to your doctor about new Bayer Women's. And years from now, you'll tell yourself, thank you.
Aspirin is not appropriate for everyone, so be sure to talk to your doctor before you begin an aspirin regimen. Bayer, take it for pain, take it for life.
You know when you're not feeling like yourself. You're tired all the time. You may feel sad, hopeless, and lose interest in things you once loved. You may feel anxious, can't even sleep. Your daily activities and relationships suffer. You know when you just don't feel right. Now here's something you may not know. These are some symptoms of depression, a serious medical condition affecting over 20 million Americans. While the cause is unknown, depression may be related to an imbalance of naturally occurring chemicals between nerve cells in the brain. Zoloft, a prescription medicine, works to correct this imbalance. When you know more about what's wrong, you can help make it right. Only your doctor can diagnose depression. Zoloft is not for everyone. People taking medicines called MAOI shouldn't take Zoloft. Side effects may include dry mouth, insomnia, sexual side effects, diarrhea, nausea, and sleepiness. Zoloft is not habit-forming. Talk to your doctor about Zoloft, the #1 prescribed brand of its kind. Zoloft. When you know more about what's wrong, you can help make it right. In the national briefing tonight, a Senate committee has authorized sending congressional subpoenas to the White House. Congress is now demanding information about contact between the president's men and the Enron Corporation. The Republicans on the committee disagreed. In New York City, an FBI agent and a former agent were charged with using information from government databases to commit fraud. They were accused of selling information about investigations to stock manipulators. And this is Fleet Week in New York City, the Navy's annual parade of ships, among other things. There were 20 ships here, some of them from overseas, and more than 6,000 sailors will pass through the city. The FBI had warned the city yesterday that terrorists might threaten New York landmarks, including the Statue of Liberty and the Brooklyn Bridge, so the city was more tense than usual. ABC News has learned new details about the methodical planning that went into the September attacks on New York. Only days before the 4 airliners were hijacked, the suspected ringleader, Mohammed Atta, was in New York City. We're joined by ABC's Brian Ross from our investigative unit, who has the details. Brian.
Peter, it turns out that Mohammed Atta and other hijackers spent a lot of time in New York, essentially casing their target here. FBI agents have tracked the hijackers' movements across the city. From this copying shop at Columbus Circle, where they use computers to check their email, to the World Trade Center downtown. Agents believe Atta actually went to the observation deck on the 107th floor of Tower Number 2, although exactly when is not known. Authorities believe his purpose may have been to set the coordinates of the Trade Center on a handheld aircraft navigational device like this one, which could have guided him in.
If they did know how to use the sophisticated nav systems they have in those big airplanes, they could use one of these very simply.
The FBI says Atta owned one of these devices, which he bought through the mail for about $500.
They could go anywhere in North America with one of these very easily. That's what makes these so popular.
The navigational devices are used by thousands of amateur pilots and would not have seemed unusual as Atta passed through airport security on his way to American Airlines Flight 11. It's all a reminder of just how skillful the hijackers were as they carefully and methodically, Peter, planned their attack.
We were reminded today, too, Brian, of how Osama bin Laden gets under the nation's skin in many ways. On Wall Street, there was a rumor that Osama bin Laden was dead. You probably knew about this, and it sent the stock markets up from 315 to its closing time. The Dow Jones Industrial Average jumped almost 100 points to close at 10,157. And after the markets closed, the Army's Central Command felt compelled to say publicly that it was not true. When we come back this evening, do the chimpanzees really need a lawyer? We'll take a closer look.
Introducing Minute Maid Blends.
Good morning, Grandma.
Good morning, Timmy.
Minute Maid Blends with new orange strawberry banana and orange cranberry.
Now dig in. Your mom said to get a good, healthy breakfast.
Flavors even kids can't resist.
I went on chemo at the time my oldest daughter was getting married. We had planned everything. The fabric, the design, the whole gown. But when it was time to sew the dress, the chemo, it makes you weak. My whole life I've made clothes for other people, but for my own daughter's wedding, I was too tired to make the dress.
Are you a chemotherapy patient? Ask your doctor about Procrit. Procrit is a natural way to regain red blood cells lost during chemotherapy, and more red blood cells can mean more strength. Procrit is safe and effective. In studies, only diarrhea and edema occurred more often with Procrit than placebo. Procrit is for patients with non-myeloid cancers. Call now and learn how Procrit can help you get back the strength you need. Your strength for living.
In life, you take the bitter with the sweet, but I plan to end up with more sweet.
Abner, we're rich.
We're rich?
It's our new litter. It's got diamonds in it.
You are mistaken, my friends. The diamonds are odor-absorbing crystals in Tidy Cat's Crystals Blend.
Whatever.
Tidy Cat's Crystals Blend. Working hard or working out, nutrition is important. With Centrum or Centrum Silver, you benefit from what science discovers about how the right multivitamins help unlock energy and strengthen immunity. Centrum and Centrum Silver, always complete from A to Zinc.
Fast Act Foam. Its patented formula knocks out weeds in 24 hours. The leading imitator doesn't. New Roundup Fast Act Foam knocks out weeds in 24 hours.
Heartburn?
Yeah. Any of you not hard or chalky?
No.
I'm not.
New Maalox Soft Chews.
I'm soft and chewy. Not hard and chalky.
Softy. Try fast new Maalox Soft Chews.
Tomorrow, technology that's bringing missing children home at rates that never before seemed possible. How America is finding its missing children on World News Tonight.
We're going to take a closer look tonight at animal rights, and here's the question. Should they have some of the same rights as humans? There is a debate in the legal community. More than 1 million warm-blooded animals were used in research during the year 2000. not including all the mice and the rats. And the government acknowledges that more than 100,000 of them suffered pain or distress. From our legal unit this evening, here's ABC's Cynthia McFadden.
Do you like these vitamins?
They think.
Yeah?
They feel. They communicate. They have the same IQ as a 3-year-old child. Some people actually treat them like children.
Yes, you love your mommy.
Yet apes, who share nearly 99% of the human DNA, and dolphins, whose intelligence has been well documented, are treated by the legal system as property.
A chimpanzee and a chair are treated the exact same way as far as their rights are concerned. Neither a chair nor a chimpanzee has any rights at all.
Stephen Wise, a lawyer and animal rights activist, is part of a growing movement to secure legal rights for such highly evolved animals. Specifically, they want to give abused animals the right to an attorney. Advocates say this is not frivolous at all, that lawyers should be allowed to bring lawsuits in animals' names to stop medical research or protect them from harm, or even seek money damages. Wise has some influential allies, including constitutional law scholar Lawrence Tribe.
We should be able to appoint appropriate individuals to speak for groups of animals and individual animals in certain circumstances, just as we appoint guardians for certain infants.
In other words, if you can't do it to a person, you can't do it to an animal.
You have to treat them the way you would treat my 4-year-old twins.
Legal scholar Richard Epstein disagrees.
Just to assume that an intelligent chimpanzee has the same cognitive development as a 4-year-old.
There are anti-cruelty laws on the books, but advocates say they are not enough.
Most of them are completely under-enforced. Some of them are just a joke.
But there is one other issue. Some in the legal system argue there are not enough resources to defend people, let alone animals. Cynthia McFadden, ABC News, New York.
When we come back this evening, the final item in our broadcast, advertising for a few good nuns.
Some like it cool, yeah. Some like it hot. Some like a splash. Some like a sizzle. Some like a toss. Some like a turn. Well, you can have it any way you want it with new wishbone dressing and marinade. Some like it cool. Some like it hot. Ooh, wishbone dressing and marinade, yeah.
You choose to be healthy. You choose to be successful. You choose to give back. You choose to be yourself. The choices you want, the voice you need to make the most out of life. Today's AARP.
I've always had the will to win. It's what drives me to do more. And when it comes to your health, you can do more. A medicine called Altace can help. I take it for high blood pressure, but it may also help you in a different, important way. If you're 55 or older and have had a heart attack or stroke or have diabetes, plus another risk factor, you can do more.
When added to existing medications, Altace was clinically proven to further reduce the risk of stroke, heart attack, and cardiovascular death. Prescription Altace is not for everyone. Altace may cause swelling of the mouth, tongue, or throat, which could cause extremely serious risk and requires immediate medical care. Common side effects include persistent dry cough, dizziness, and lightheadedness due to low blood pressure. Do not take Altace during pregnancy, as death or injury to your unborn child may result, or if you've experienced serious side effects related to previous ACE inhibitors.
You can do more. Go ahead. Ask your doctor about Altace.
They're everywhere.
Yeah.
Welcome to America's largest ATM network. Open a free checking account with direct deposit.
Coming up after World News Tonight, after a school funding measure fails, how are teachers preparing for layoffs, and what does the governor say? Doctors say it hijacks the brain inside the world of a meth addict and the frightening effects of this drug. Plus, how you can stop telemarketers. K2 investigates from gadgets to phone services, the options you have. Next.
Tomorrow, it's quicker and cheaper. The newest way to get divorced online. But is it too easy? Plus, J-Lo, how she shines on screen and off on Good Morning America.
Just in case you joined in progress, a brief review of the two cases that we began the broadcast with this evening. In Washington, D.C. today, police have said the remains of the missing Washington intern Chandra Levy were those found in a park just a few miles from her apartment. She disappeared a year ago. And in Birmingham, Alabama, the end of a criminal case that has preoccupied many people for almost 40 years. The last suspect in the bombing murder of 4 young girls was found guilty today. A former member of the Ku Klux Klan found guilty of murder and will go to jail for life. Finally this evening, from us, modern nuns doing modern things. This is a far cry from Shakespeare's Hamlet and his notion of a nunnery. The one fact you have to know before this report by ABC's Dean Reynolds is that most nuns in the United States are over 70.
The Sisters of the Adrian Dominican Order are well aware of their problem.
And let's see your throat.
To do their jobs, helping the sick, ministering to the poor, and teaching the uneducated, they need new recruits, and they need them quickly.
I need people to help me in my ministry.
Because, like other orders, the Adrian Dominicans are dominated by elderly nuns, attracting young women is an absolute necessity.
Even the biggest orders feel they're lucky if they can recruit 3 a year. Many orders are not recruiting any people a year.
So the Adrian Dominicans have devised an untraditional way to turn the tide.
Maybe God is tapping you on the shoulder. The Adrian Dominican Sisters can help you sort things out.
As far as anyone knows, this is the first time nuns have used television to recruit. These ads, inviting women to attend a free-of-charge introductory retreat, have run in the Detroit market.
This is the weekend that could change your life.
Sister Corinne Sanders is the order's media maven.
In the focus groups we had with young people.
Focus groups?
Yes, we use focus groups with, I've learned a lot about marketing.
Sister Corinne placed the ads in the proper slot, near Oprah, naturally, and worked on the look as well.
It is a powerful visual.
With advertising executive Paige Curtis.
I think what it made people realize is life's going to be over. What have you done?
The TV ad campaign has run for a month and a half, and it ends this week. It cost the nuns $200,000, but many of them here believe that if it succeeds, it will be well worth the price.
Adrian Dominican Sisters office.
Together with the new billboards that link people to their website,
Did you see our ad on the TV?
the order is now getting 100 inquiring calls a week instead of 4. 4,000 hits on the website instead of 200. The response is phenomenal, said one nun. Marketing is not such a terrible word after all. Dean Reynolds, ABC News, Adrian, Michigan.
That is our report on World News this evening. Tomorrow on the news, President Bush in Russia, where he's going to be meeting with the Russian President, Vladimir Putin. We'll have a report on this unusual man. Don't forget Nightline this evening. I'm Peter Jennings. Have a good evening. Good night.
This has been a presentation of ABC News. More Americans get their news from ABC News than from any other source. ABC News, now traveling to all 50 states in 50 weeks in search of America.
35 hours on a tiny platform in the sky. David Blaine's newest feat is like riding 10 stories up and jumping into thin air. David Blaine's Vertigo, live tonight at 10/9 Central on ABC.
Now on K2 News at 6:30, a car slams into a school bus full of kids in Portland. Find out why drug charges may follow. Plus, it's supposed to be a sanctuary for animals, but we'll show you why the owner is now accused of animal neglect. And hanging up on telemarketing calls. From gadgets to Oregon's new law, K2 investigates your options.
Live at 6:30, K2 News with Paul Lindman, Steve Dunn, and exclusive microcast weather with Rob Marciano. K2 and you, the new spirit of the Northwest.
Good evening, I'm Paul Lindman.
And I'm Steve Dunn. First on 2 tonight, a parent's nightmare. A car smashes into a school bus.
6 people, including 3 children, are injured.